It's not out of place for a woman to genuinely look for a man that would genuinely love her, care for her, and show her kindness. But then, outside showing her kindness, she also talked about she respecting a man, having a man around her she'll be able to respect. And also, interestingly, she didn't lay emphasis on a man who has money, But then, what's your take on this?
Well, I think that it is not, a man doesn't have to do anything for you to show respect, from my point of view.
Okay.
It's either you're respectful or you're disrespectful. I know there are instances where a man can maybe stoop low in a way that makes you disrespect him or look at him in a certain way. But if you're a woman of high value, like you say you are, that you want a certain kind of man in your life, you're supposed to be able to maintain that status quo. You're supposed to be able to maintain that habit constantly of showing respect, even when this person isn't worth respecting. That makes you who you are. If I have to submit conditions for you to respect me, you don't actually respect me. Although I know that there are some things that men do that make a woman will look at you less, especially when you can't provide. Like she said too, if it's not about not having the money, but the way you're curtailing the situation, the way you're handling the situation, there'll be a manner of respect. There would still be the way the lady looks at you. It's not going to go down, even if she knows that you don't have. But there's a way you would also behave, knowing that you do not have. You, not just the female, you make both your fellow male, your fellow man, to lose respect for you. But I believe that we should all get to a point where we don't have to lay conditions as to why we should be respected. And it goes both ways. I don't have to tell you, I'm bringing this to the table, so that is why you should respect me, or either ways. It should be, you should respect me as a human being. If you feel like I'm not worth your respect, then don't bother being in my space. Don't bother being my friend. Don't bother being my spouse if I'm not worth your respect. You should be able to respect me even when I'm being foolish. Yes, you should be able to respect me even when I'm being foolish. You should be able to know how to address the issue wisely. Even when it looks like your opinions do not matter. There's a portion of that story like that in the Bible. I've forgotten the name of the king. He was a very foolish king, and his wife indeed had some sense. And she knew that my husband's decision is going to get us killed.
Abigail.
Yes. But rather than throwing it in her husband's face and losing all form of respect and saying, you're going to get us killed, or you have no sense of reasoning, or saying all manner of things, knowing that probably she's the only one with a functioning or a good head on her shoulder, she went behind to curtail the situation. That way,
still called her husband a foolish man before the king. You know that was what she, she disrespected the husband in the husband's absence, because she went to King David and I said, forgive my foolish husband.
No, that is not in his presence. This is for, when you're addressing.
Shouldn't respect count at all times?
It should. Okay, but look,
even in absence of the person.
Yes, it should. But I think this particular case, it's just like kings like to feel like they are the only ones. So there's a way you'd cajole a king. There's some kind of words you'd use. It would be easy for him to give you what you want. Her saying, forgive my foolish husband, was not to disrespect her husband. It was to make the king feel like he was the only wise person. That way, you soothe his heart into saying, no problem, I forgive your husband. He was indeed acting in foolishness or something. You get? So it's not something she would go and tell her husband in person, you're foolish. Exactly. But now the situation had her do that because she knew she had to save her husband's head. And that was the best way to get to the king's heart. That's it. But I believe that when it comes to respect, both old and young, we should be able to give respect. A lot of adults demand respect from children. But if you can't respect the child too, what example are you passing
At some
to the
point,
child?
the child is going to rebel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What example are you setting for the child? You're telling the child that I can talk to you as I please because I'm older than you.
That's right.
And the cycle will continue. But if, no matter how young I am, you can talk to me and say, this is not it, this is not right, you didn't get this here, you didn't get this here, next time how about you try this approach?
Yes.
I don't mean don't scold me when I do something wrong, but correcting me through a scold or a shout and disrespecting me are two different things. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
So that respect applies to everybody. I mean, Iniedo
But
probably has her reasons why, but I
she
just
has to be a man, she has to
Yes.
respect. But when you look at it, I think you're talking about respect in general terms. But when it comes to relationship, especially marital relationship or relationship between a man and a woman, the respect given to a partner is completely different from the respect you extend to every other person. The respect a woman gives to the husband is different from the respect she gives to her boss. It's different from the respect she gives to every other man, both in her family, in her husband's family, and every other place. The respect for a spouse, a husband, in this case, is different. I think that's the respect Iniedo was talking about.
Okay, well, I think the problem is a lot of people in relationships and marriages have a tendency to see their spouse finish, you know.
They see finish syndrome.
Yes, you have the belief that my spouse is with me for life, so you can do as you please, and they should forgive. But this is something that if you want a bed of roses, you have to plant your roses.
Of course.
Right? You cannot wake up and expect a bed of roses. If you want to be respected as a woman, I mean, men are obsessed with respect.
Yes.
That's one thing I've noticed. A man can smell disrespect from a mile away. Even
That's
a
right.
madman will want respect. Do you get me? You can't see a madman on the road and say you're a madman. You're disrespecting them. A man naturally wants respect from a woman. If you notice too, for instance, you might be an older sibling to your younger brother, but there's an age he'll get to. He'll stop taking your nonsense.
Respect,
exactly, because it's inherent in every man for respect. So I think normally what you're saying is true. It's not always about, do you love this person? That's the grounds on which you should marry. Can you respect this person?
So which means it's not every man you can respect in that context.
Yes.
So she's not wrong.
She's not
every
wrong.
man that you can give a certain kind of, because I feel the respect to a husband is reverential kind of respect.
Yes.
And I cannot give even my pastor that reverential. That's a fact.
Exactly.
Because after God, the next person should be my husband.
Yeah.
And after my husband, my pastor takes a distant.
Yeah.
In fact, after my husband, that's my father, before my pastor,
True.
because that's the order I have seen it, right? So it's a situation where not just any man, to be candid, can fit into that picture. Not just any man can sit well in that situation. So it becomes very imperative that you find or you be with a man that you can respect in all situations. And you know, there are things that trigger that level of respect from a woman.
Yes.
For example, because I think when a woman talks about respect, it means you're also looking at submission. Because respect and submission goes hand in hand. So if I am submitting to you as a man, then what am I submitting to? Because I'm not necessarily submitting to a person.
True.
I'm submitting to your vision.
Your leadership.
I'm submitting to your leadership. I'm submitting to
Your
what it is you have to offer.
Yeah.
Your rules and all of that. It means that I recognize you to be above me.
And you
It
can
means
lead
that
me. I trust you completely.
It means that I trust you completely, and it means that I am not ashamed to bow for you.
Yeah.
You understand? I'm not personally, if I cannot kneel before you, I don't think I honestly can say,
Okay.
that I can marry you. For me as a person, I should be able to comfortably even kneel just to hype you and, you know, just to make you feel that you're the king that you are. So
Okay.
now I think that's the context.
Well, I think
Inedo might be bringing it up.
okay, well, kneeling, that's for you. But I don't think kneeling really has, like, really, kneeling is all that curtails respect. But that's a you thing.
That's a me thing.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to say,
Okay,
like,
no.
it's a big thing for me because
Exactly.
I just can't. The only person I can kneel before is my God.
Well, the thing
You
is,
get-
in nature, God created women to naturally have to submit. Okay, He didn't create us like that until Eve did the whole dramatic
According to the Bible.
Yes.
Bible.
So after the whole drama with Adam and Eve eating the fruit, God had to cause Eve to submit because He realized that her decisions were not entirely
align well.
No, it wasn't the best. Okay, and now it was like Adam didn't love Eve enough to take responsibility and say,
You think so?
no, that's because why
Do
would
you
you?
love her high enough?
I feel so because.
Do you love her enough?
Do you know why I say so? Because how was the first thought that came to your mind to blame the wife?
Because it's the one that did the. And it's not.
But guess what? When you actually love somebody, you want to
Maybe
shield them.
it's not love. Maybe it's not. Didn't have the leadership quality enough.
You can see that. You
That does not
No,
translate to love.
do you know why I say so? Because
Why?
love is all round. It's not just about your emotions. For me to take responsibility for you, I need to have some certain kind of love for you to be able to say it was my fault. It doesn't have to be a romantic kind of.
Do you think if his foolishness in bringing Adam down was because she didn't love the husband?
No, I'm not saying that. It's because women
wasn't
are
wise.
not. Women make choices with their emotions.
Okay.
They're not entirely logical, and that's why God created us in two
You say
different-
women are not entirely logical.
Yeah, they're not entirely logical.
You're saying that.
Yes. Do you know why I'm saying so? If you see a woman that is completely logical, from my point of view, she's detached from her emotions.
Really?
Yes. Most of them that I've seen, actually,
I'm very logical.
that are logical, they're detached from their emotions, or even if not detached, they try
I
as much
think
as
maybe the
possible to
woman-
suppress it.
I think some women.
And why
some
it
women
happens
live
like
in their
that?
masculine
Why-
energy.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean they're detached. No, that doesn't mean they're detached from their emotions.
No, look. For a woman to operate in the masculine energy, there's a whole lot of things she has to suppress.
Or there is a whole lot of things she has gone through.
No, that's the thing. That's why I say has to suppress, because for you to suppress something, it's just like how trauma happens. You get when you, for instance, witness a traumatic experience, accident, maybe a loved one dies, something. If you notice, some people can't stand it, so sometimes they develop
Post-trauma
personality disorders. Yeah, they develop personality disorder. They have alter egos and stuff.
Bipolar.
Exactly. Sometimes they have walls. You realize that they cannot recall that incident that happened. Their brain totally shields it
Selective
off.
amnesia.
Exactly. So that's the thing. So sometimes when you see a woman being entirely logical, do you know I'm saying so? Something, an event, or maybe past experiences has caused her to remain in her masculine energy. Do you get me? She remains in her masculine energy, so she has.
What if it's a survival tactic?
Exactly. The survival.
No, that doesn't mean she's. No, that doesn't mean she's dead.
No, I'm not saying
to her
she's dead.
emotions.
That's why I said
Or
detached.
that doesn't mean she's detached
No,
from her emotions.
okay. Let me change my word. I'm not meaning detached in the sense that she doesn't have feelings at all.
But she's not as feminine as she should be.
Yes, she's not. She's not. Her emotions are not the first thing that come up anymore because she has suppressed it based on, now it's like it's almost like kill or be killed. So it's like I don't have room for these feelings, kind of. So usually a woman's emotions are the first thing that comes up. You get before she starts to say, am I making the right decision? You get start thinking. But
She reacts
usually
emotionally
exactly. But when she's now in her masculine energy, she's first logical. It doesn't mean she doesn't have feelings. But now it's like these feelings are not important. You get I can't really trust my heart to do this. Do you get what I'm saying?
Because her heart has shown her that you.
Exactly. So I'm trying to say an experience causes that.
Okay.
But naturally, the man is the logical being. That's why we're paired. The woman is the helpmeet. So while you're making your logical decisions, I'm pitching in my opinion, using my emotions. We come together, emotion and logic,
And strike a balance.
and strike a balance.